Well, hello everyone. How are we doing this evening? Good, I hope. Thank you so much for checking in. I'm kind of excited about this. I'm sure you've already guessed I want to talk about this little model toy. It's actually from 1957. I spared no expense. But before we get to this, I think we need to have a little backstory or history of why this model is important and why it exists. So to do that, we've got to travel back, all the way back to 1955. So the best way to do that, I guess, is, well, let's just get to it. Hey, lots of room in 1955. I'm pretty stylish right now. Anyway, it's 1955, Anaheim, California. Obviously, we're building Disneyland. The Tomorrowland, we'll try to keep this brief. The Tomorrowland area was probably the least developed at that time. But one of the attractions that they had put in was a show building that was going to house the ride or attraction Flight to the Moon. And next to that show building, they've decided to build this rocket, which was designed by the Imagineer John Hench and Werner von Braun, the scientist / ex-Nazi that got us to the moon and basically started NASA in the space race and so on and so forth. But anyway, they had built this rocket to go outside the show building, which was very, very popular at the time. You have to remember, this is, the mid-50s, probably the height of the Red Scare, the Reds are coming, the commies are coming kind of thing. We're coming through the McCarthy era. There's a lot of the sci-fi movies at the time. For example, Invaders from Mars, which the Martians come down and they put a thing in the back of your neck and they take control. Obviously, subtext for socialism and communism, followed by Jack Finney's. It was a short story, I think, in Collier's magazine, and it became a book, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Several movies, starting with Kevin McCarthy's No Relation to Joe, that I'm aware of, in the 50s, and then Donald Sutherland did it in the 70s. I think there was one in the 80s, 90s. Nicole Kidman had one. Very, very popular. And the same thing, now you're plant-based. A twin is grown, and you're compliant, you do what you're told, et cetera, et cetera. Again, more Red Scare nonsense. And you've got movies like Robot Monster, which is the monk guy in the monkey suit, gorilla suit, who's just wearing the space helmet. Well, here, take a look. This is kind of a fun picture. Take a look. Right, this is the kind of crap that was taking place in the 50s. Sort of these scary sci-fi them, ants, the day the earth stood still, all these warning pictures. And I think what Walt was trying to do, at least in Tomorrowland, was to take a more realistic and positive approach to technology in the future. And that's what the Flight of the Moon attraction and some of the other things that they had going with sponsors like Monsanto and some others trying to show what the future could hold. We talked about the House of the Future. This rocket was actually built out of aluminum, which at that time was a revolutionary metal. Had some problems that they didn't know about until after, but that's a story for a different day. The TWA sponsorship of the Moonliner ended in like 1962 because Howard Hughes sold his interest in TWA. But Douglas Aircraft was quick to pick up the sponsorship, and the rocket was rethemed from TWA, which is Trans World Airlines, by the way. It was rethemed to Douglas Aircraft. You know what? Here, take a look. Here's a couple of pictures of this at Disneyland and when it was rethemed to the Douglas Aircraft. Go ahead, take a look. Right, you kind of get the idea. Now, the Douglas Moonliner lasted until about 1967, when the rocket itself was completely removed. I think they made way for the Carousel of Progress at that time, kind of Disneyland's first redesign. Now, that was known as the Moonliner 1 because Howard Hughes liked it so much, he built a Moonliner 2 in, I think, 56 or 57, and he added it to TWA's corporate office in Kansas City, Missouri, up on the roof. Over the years, of course, it ended up falling apart, and I think it got yanked down. Some cat bought it, completely restored it, and now it's in a Air and Space Museum, I believe still in Missouri. There's a third version that was created in 1998, another Tomorrowland at Disneyland remodel. So a Moonliner 3, if you will, much smaller than the 75-foot tall one that was the original Moonliner, which is actually 8 feet taller than Sleeping Beauty's castle, which is interesting. But anyway, a smaller version was created in 1998 and was put in front of what was then known as the Tomorrowland refreshment stand, promoting Coca-Cola, a long-term partner of Walt Disney, Disneyland, and all of his properties. And now it sits out in front of Red's Rocket Pizza Port, and it's been painted to look like it's themed the Pizza Port rocket or something. But anyway, here, take a look. Here's a couple of pictures. Right, kind of interesting. Anyway, well, now take a look at this. This will kind of give you a hint of the excitement of, it's a couple of minute long videos sort of slapped together, but it'll show you kind of what I'm talking about from the Disneyland standpoint. Then on the other side, we'll talk about this rocket, and we will go back to the future. Take a look.
The future is called Tomorrowland. One of the popular attractions here is our simulated rocket trip around the moon. After entering the Disneyland spaceport, visitors may experience the thrills that space travelers of the future will encounter when rocket trips to the moon become a daily routine.
Unloading at gate 5. Helicopter Control Officer Marshak, please call your office. Flight 107, rocket ship Star of Polaris has just touched down. Passengers are disembarking through gate 3. Passengers Johnson and Hinch, please go to the TWA ticket counter. Attention blast-off crew. All field personnel take blast-off station. All field personnel take blast-off station. Attention passengers. Disembarking from Jet Flight 107, helicopter service to the city center, departing in 10 minutes. Incoming TWA Moon Flight 107. Arriving on time at gate 3. Incoming passenger, C. Williams. Please report to information counter in the main lobby. This is Station 1 calling RM1. Our radar telescopes have charted your firing time and course. Give us a voice report for instrument error check. Over.
Welcome aboard, friends. This is Captain Collins. Now, first let me assure you that TWA has taken every precaution for your safety during this flight. We're proud of our safety record, and aside from a few brief moments of weightlessness, You'll suffer no discomfort in outer space. Please observe the two television screens. The upper screen looks ahead. The lower scans the view below our ship. Both will be turned on at takeoff. For the next few moments, it's going to be a bit noisy, so I won't try to speak to you again until we pass through the sonic barrier, where we'll leave the roar of our rockets far behind.
Tower to Captain, rocket ship Star of Polaris. You've been cleared for takeoff.
Roger, all set, Tower.
8, X7, X6, X5, X4, X3, X2, X1. Fire!
Okay, I'm back. I'm back, Jack. Anyway, so this is a, what's it called here? A Stormbecker model. Now, I do not have the box that it came in. This was a toy, obviously, or a model that was sold at Disneyland. This came out, at least this iteration, the one that I have, this is 1957, which I believe is one of the early ones. There might have been a model in 56. Well, here, take a look. Here's some pictures of a box that I found online. It's got the decals, unassembled, of course, etc., etc. But take a look at these, and I'll see you when you're done looking at those. Right, so you got an idea. I'm sure you bought this for $1 at Disneyland, and a kid would come and put the decals and stuff on. You saw them in the box. You can see there the TWA Moonliner, the TWA logo. Now they didn't put, you probably saw in the box, there should be a Disneyland logo that goes right here that says rocket, something or other about Disneyland. I do not know the little boy that got this in the 50s, if he decided not to put it on, or it perhaps has come off over the last 60-something years. That part I don't know. But I get the sense, based on some of the painting, remember that old paint when we were kids in the 70s? Here, take a look. I'm sure they don't sell this shit, but take a look, sell it today. Take a look, see if you remember. Right, so just imagine some little boy, he painted the legs of this rocket ship and the slides in here. These are actually supposed to, you should be able to close these down, and this should, obviously when it's in flight, I can see the grooves, you can see where the kid painted some silver in there. I'm not gonna try to close it. He obviously painted the nose silver as well, and I guarantee you it was that Testor paint. I also have, it hasn't arrived yet, back in the 50s, when you were at the Flight of the Moon attraction, when you left, they gave you a little piece of cardstock that said you've just gone to the moon and Captain Collins wants to thank you for your flight, type of thing. I found one of those as well. It hasn't arrived yet, but here's a picture of it, give you an idea what it looks like. Kind of fun. Anyway, I was just super, super excited. You will find that these are very, very rare. Well, that kid, boy, he dotted all those things. I mean, this had to have sat in a glass case for a long, long time to be in as good a shape as it is. And it's heavier than you think. And it's also as fragile as you might think as well. Again, I don't think there's too many of these around. And yes, Justin will add this to the list of things that you want when I'm dead. But until now, they're mine. But anyway, super excited to have it. I'm a big fan of all of those movies and just the space stuff, and I think it's a fascinating toy, and I'm very fortunate to have it. And I just wanted to sort of share a little bit of that history, the toy itself. I don't know how many were sold. I'm assuming gajillions of them, but I've never really seen any for sale. I think a lot of them got blown up with firecrackers and ended up in the trash and so on and so forth. But anyway, hopefully you got a kick out of that. Again, another rare Disney item. So in this world, when you could be anything you want, you'd be kind, you'd be humble, you'd be forgiving. And yes, I'm on the prowl for that Disney ticket or / coupon, because that's really what they are. I don't know why we say e-ticket. If you look, it's really an e-coupon. But in that video you watched, they actually had a ticket that showed the rocket on it. I've yet to find one. Rest assured, I'm very tenacious. I will eventually acquire it come hell or high water. But at the moment, I'm super excited about my Moonliner TWA rocket. Anyway, be well, take care. Talk to you later. Bye.